The New York Times gave us some more background on this. Who is this person? Well, early Tuesday afternoon, a panel of judges named her, Desiree, to replace Alina, but hours after the judge named her Miss Grace, Bondi said, nope, she's fired. Now, the district judge, Renee Bum, who signed the order appointing Grace, said through an aide, the court will have no comment on this. The court, you just appointed her. They just fired her. Can you overrule that? Like the court appointed her. So can you take jurisdiction over this and not fire her? What's the deal? The U.S. Attorney's Office in Newark was instantly thrust into disarray yesterday. No clear later. Maybe they should have just reappointed Alina. Could have solved that. Top lawyers in the state tried to make sense of the crisis. The heck's going on? Who's in charge? Here's what we know about Miss Grace. She's a 37-year-old legal rising star at the center of the battle, and this might turn into an bigger battle. Miss Grace, who's known as Desi to her colleagues, joined the U.S. Attorney's Office in 2016, according to LinkedIn. She rose rapidly in Newark, first leading its violent crimes unit, and then its criminal division, and then got named Abba's assistant. So then Abba appointed Grace, I wonder if they're friends, to number 2 deputy soon after being named. So she's like, all right, Grace is number 2. I like you, Grace. You got a good style. Now, and Grace is like, this is great. I'm going to be Alina Abba's number 2. Going to be super loyal. No. Miss Grace's colleagues were broadly supportive of Miss Abba's decision. Interesting, according to interviews with more than a dozen current and former prosecutors and defense lawyers familiar with the office's dynamics. And I think my first instinct is to dunk on Desiree. It's like, all right, well, it shows you're fired. But apparently, maybe she's a good person and they're friends. Maybe they're in it together. Like, don't worry, we're just going to fire you and bring you over here. Alina's going to come over here. You're going to come be your assistant over here. You're going to work with Ed Martin and you're going to go after these maniacs or something, right? So she was seen as an experienced, no-nonsense prosecutor capable of helping lead the office. In May, she got a standing ovation when she spoke at a New Jersey alumni dinner. That's okay. They give you all of themselves standing ovations. That's why they go to these events, so they can stand up and clap for each other. It's true. I've been to them. It's hysterical. Like, they say the dumbest things and everybody's like, wow, great job. All these lawyers standing up, all these prosecutors. That's hysterical. Anyway, so they did that. So that means nothing. In other words, it means nothing. They stand up for it. That's the only meaning they have. I got a standing ovation. Wow, great job, honey. For what? Oh, I don't know. Executing speeding tickets? Great job. You're doing a great job out there, honey. After 4 years as an assistant U.S. attorney in Newark, Miss Grace was named acting chief of the Violent Crimes Unit. Less than 2 years later, she became the acting chief, and they give themselves chief names, an acting chief and a deputy acting chief and special supervisory, special assistant acting chief. Okay, all right. Do you feel better about yourself? I hope so. In May, Miss Grace represented the... Oh, man, you can see how much love we have for prosecutors. Man, if I ever get in trouble, I'm in big trouble. In May, Miss Grace represented the government in court after Mayor Ras J. Baraka, and some of them I assume are good people, was arrested outside an immigration detention facility in Newark. Less than 2 weeks later, Miss Abba moved to dismiss the trespassing charge filed against Baraka, saying, okay, we're not going to charge you with the crime. Miss Grace attended law school in New Jersey, University of Maryland, Seton, managing editor of Law Review. Oh man, I did one semester of Law Review and then basically got fired because I hated it and I was terrible at it. She clerked for 2 judges, Stuart Rabner, the Chief Justice of New Jersey Supreme Court, and more. And so she also worked for 2 years in McCarter and English, a large law firm based in Newark. So anyways, yeah, that's good stuff there. So we don't know much about her or what she's doing, but she is now gone. And the way this works, so U.S. Code stipulates that the interim U.S. attorneys are only allowed to serve for 120 days, okay, if they're not confirmed by the Senate. Now, after the appointment expired, the district court is allowed to appoint a new prosecutor until the vacancy is filled. They quote the law. Now, during her time, Abba's practice was marked by confrontation, and the Democrat senators, Kim and Booker, are opposing her appointment. So there's this approval process. You got to get support of the local senators to bring her up for a vote, and they're refusing to do that. They're like, she's a Trump lawyer. And so it sounds like things are in kind of disarray. The court has no comment on it. Desiree is fired. Alina Abba has, I think, officially until Friday, according to Ed Martin. And so the battle will be brewing. Who is in charge of the District of New Jersey? Time will tell.